I hope you enjoy. I hope you guys like me.
I call that developing a brand.
Yeah, we're hope you like me on a Monday morning because you got a lot of me coming today. But it was a bachelor party weekend for me.
Oh, that's right. I
to
saw
Kansas
did you get through the meat sweats? That looked amazing, by the way. Tell me that you finished.
No,
That looked so good. Where were you, by the way?
Q39.
Yeah, I was going to say that is again, no plugs, no free ones. That is my favorite place down there.
It was
barbecue. Q39 is fantastic.
It was solid. Very, very solid.
You look like a sampler platter of some sorts.
Yeah, got the competition plate. We got that with
how'd the competition go?
Good. The ribs, fantastic. Yep. Sausage, fantastic. Pork belly at the Q39 to die for. So I did not finish off that plate. I got a to-go box, and I finished that right whenever I made it back to Lincoln yesterday. So that was tasty. But you had to leave a little bit of room because it's a bachelor party. So obviously we had a couple bars to go hit later in the evening, and you didn't want to be fully comatose after dinner, which I was a little bit comatose. But we figured that one out. And let's get Hooksy on stage here. Now,
what's up?
Now you can see all of us.
Hi, peeps.
Now you can see all of us. But I made it through that. And last night I sat on my couch to watch some college baseball, to watch some NBA finals, and it all cut up to about 7 o'clock. So I was in bed by 7:15 last night, and I'm feeling chipper.
Good for you about 7:15 because I hit it last night. Usually I'm this guy. I like to finish the night and wrap it. I'm a weird dude at night. I like the house to be set back up for the morning. So for instance, dishes in the dishwasher, pillows put back, all that stuff. Everything. I'm kind of that's borderline OCD a little bit. Last night I was sitting there and I was a little disappointed because I spent yesterday up in Ashland for a while. I'm like, man, this is going to be a great day. Be with the fam. We're going to hang out, which we did. That part was great. Get home. We made some steaks. I want to sit down and watch college baseball. And then you turn on the game, and we're going to get to it. It's then it was a 6 spot by LSU. Then it was a 7 spot by Oregon State. And then I'm like, well, I'll turn the finals on. Apparently that's not going to work out. 18-point halftime lead. I'm like, can you give me some sports to watch, please?
We had a great Friday night of college baseball.
Yes.
A great Saturday of college baseball. Sunday left a little bit to be desired with the college baseball. But more games upcoming on a Monday, so I'm hoping for the best there. Yeah. I guess you had was it Duke yesterday?
Puke. Let's get it right.
Sorry. Puke. That game was
all
right.
A family-friendly show.
And then Louisville and Miami was very good yesterday, but I was in the car ride back from Kansas City, and I got back in time for the bad baseball last night.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm glad it didn't feel like I missed anything.
You didn't.
I was slightly concerned. I'd be like, how ready am I going to be for the morning hookup? We're fine.
We're always ready. Caleb coming in hot this morning. He just did a little. I thought I saw the bad boys coming out of your ears there.
It was. I did not go to bed at 7:15 last night.
No, can you? I need to recap this because Kayla was in Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, what a weekend!
I loved the first message I got. So we live in the messaging world, which I love these messages that I get from you guys. This one had me laughing. Hooksy, this is literally 6:03 on Friday. Hooksy, we've been in Topeka for 2 hours, and 6 of my kids are stuck in an elevator. It doesn't surprise me about Topeka, Kansas.
So whenever the fire department show up?
Yep.
When they showed up, did you go, hey, I'm actually been enjoying my time here? 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
My favorite message was the screenshot that he sent of the it's, if you don't realize this in the sports world, there's one you go the group me, there's a group me chat, or there's also just a text chat amongst your parents. First of all, there was a water problem. And then if you're looking, 6 of them are if you can't find your kids, 6 of them are in an elevator.
We had that Saturday. I got my first ejection.
Whoa.
You got ejected?
Whoa.
I got ejected and my head coach got ejected.
Okay. This is
all right.
Made for radio conversation with an umpire here.
I'm preparing to take the umpire's side, but let's dive into it.
He's already prejudging you.
It bled in from game 1 was basically what happened. There were some calls in game 1 that I didn't agree with. There were balks and strikes in, but it was irrelevant to what the score was. We got our butts kicked.
Yeah, I get boat race, you get a little upset.
But what I was really upset about was the way my kids played. The effort, the attitude, all that was just not there. I was like, we just drove 3 hours down here. We look like we don't want to play, yada, yada. So I was already on edge, upset. We get to game 2. There's a pretty pivotal situation in the game. First and second, no outs. We're starting to rally. We're starting to come back. Ground ball hit the shortstop. They're going to turn 2. Our kid doesn't slide into second, which that's his fault. He should have slid into second.
Yep.
But second baseman makes a throw over to first. Our kid at first is safe by a mile. Not even a question.
Yep.
Everybody in the stadium would have agreed that he was safe. Our next batter is in the batter's box, ready to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Our kid is still standing on first base.
Yeah.
And here comes the other coach out of the dugout. He says, "Hey, isn't that runner at first out? Didn't you call obstruction?" And the umpire goes, "Yeah, he's out." And we're all like, whoa, 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 whoa. No, you didn't say anything. Where was the obstruction call? And all I was looking for was an explanation. And he kept telling me he didn't have to explain anything to me. He didn't want to talk about it. And I'm like, why is my runner out? That's all I wanted to know. So we just kept going back and forth. And eventually he told me, "Do you want to stay in this game or do you want to leave?" And I said, "I want an explanation as to what happened." He said,
Boom.
He said, "I don't owe you anything. You got one more chance." That's when I said a few expletives. And
Okay, yeah. So the umpire was right to eject you.
I said a few expletives and I told him that he was a joke of an umpire. And then he said, "All right, you're gone." Boom.
Okay, perfect.
Then about 30 seconds later, I'm walking out and the home plate umpire is looking at my head coach. And my head coach goes, "What are you looking at me for?"
Yeah.
And then
We'll stare down.
And then he goes, "I'm making sure your other coach leaves." And then my head coach goes, "Okay." Doesn't say anything, doesn't keep the situation going. Home plate umpire looks at him and goes, "You're next." So then that's when my head coach freaked out. He's like, "I didn't even say anything to you, blah, blah, blah." And boom, he gets tossed.
What say you?
I will say here, I don't necessarily disagree with either ejection, but I think better preventative umpiring could have prevented both of the ejections.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the ejections had come about, they were both warranted. I don't think the umpire had a great feel of the game, and that's why the coaches were ejected.
Yes.
I'll say that.
100% I agree.
Fair.
I'll take the umpire side. In those situations, I would have ejected the umpires, but I would have ejected the coaches, but I wouldn't have gotten myself into that situation in the first place.
Now, the really bad part was after the game. When the home plate umpire approached me and my head coach. Oh, yeah. We about got into an altercation. And
Really?
Okay, the umpire approached you after the game?
And he had to be held back by parents. And
the umpire himself had to be held back?
By parents. And
he wanted to get after it?
And the tournament director. Yeah, he wanted to throw down right there.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, no. You should not be talking to any. Once you leave the field of play.
Exactly.
It's over.
Go to your car and go home.
Go home.
Why do you want to continue things?
It's over.
Well, he had a game after us, so
it's over.
The golf cart, they got on the golf cart with the tournament director, and they took him to some locker room or something, and they were changing, and then we were going to talk to our team, and so we walked right past him as he was coming out, and he says some snarky comment to us, just keep provoking the situation,
wow.
And we're trying to leave it alone, and then that's when he hops off the golf cart and starts walking towards us. We're like,
oh my gosh,
is this really happening?
Well, it's
right
Topeka,
now?
First of all. He's probably from Kansas.
It was.
Could have been from Topeka or the St. Joe area.
Never seen anything like this.
You just frustrated. He's got to live down there.
Yeah, I got to go home after all this.
But besides the point, the kids got after pool play. We were the last seed because we played terrible and fought our way to second place.
Oh,
so
congrats.
We'll take that.
Good job.
Not a great umpiring job.
No.
Yeah.
From my outside perspective, I'm only hearing one side.
Yeah, but there's explanations to be offered, right? Some sort or no?
Doesn't have to be offered. It's good practice to do so.
Yeah. Hey, let's have there's a relationship built there from an explanation side. And you don't have to like the explanation, but I'm gonna give you something.
There was just already tension from both sides because we were barking since game one. No, I'm not gonna lie. We were complaining about strike zone and other calls and stuff. So
well, guys, you made it back. It's it's a 50-50 proposition making it back from anywhere in Kansas.
And I think that comes down to experience with game management as an umpire that helps those situations. So
okay. All right. Well, welcome in. There you go. We're all three here safe and sound from where we were. Speaking of something that's transpiring, we got 7 of the 8 teams headed to Omaha slated for us with one game tonight. We'll look at the field. There are 5 national seats left. That's it. Of the 16, there's 5 national seats left. The 3, 6, 8, 13, and 15. They're all available still. You got that first round match. I think these are intriguing games. I think you just start to look at how the bracket's going to fill out. I know a lot of people like myself, as the bracket starts to fill out, start going, how can I get off to go watch that game? How can I make it to Omaha? What side of the bracket do I want to watch? This thing will we'll look at the top left, how that thing transpired.
How about those Chanticleers, baby?
Ooh, boy. How about you got this first one up top and go top left. Louisville gets it done against Miami in a very contested back and forth, more offensive regional than anything, super regional than anything. Louisville prevails out of that one. And then on the bottom side, Oregon State. What can you say about Oregon State? They were the nation's number 8 seed, I believe, coming into this tournament. They lose their first game in their regional, win 4 straight. They get there and then go and battle Florida State, a really good opponent out of the ACC.
Well, and they first off, the comeback win on Friday.
Yep.
In 10. And then, I mean, a pitcher's duel on Saturday. I think both pitchers got north of 110 pitches.
Yep.
Each team had one run, and it was Florida State that did enough late against that Oregon State bullpen, and then absolute shootout yesterday.
Oh, man. When you look at that, obviously, the 2 innings are what really busted the bubble for Florida State. They give up a 7 spot. Their starter gets 2/3 of an inning, gives up back-to-back home runs, and they get a 6 spot. They give up a 6 spot in the third. That's 13 runs. Valiant effort. They lose 14-10, but now you're going to get Louisville, Oregon State. Powerhouse, by the way. There's probably some kind of good case study behind Oregon State right now that we could deep dive into at some other point. You're talking about a team that has no conference, that has to go out, manufacture a schedule of teams that'll play them, right, without a conference affiliation, and have to continue to dominate what they do. And they're a big-time baseball school. When you look at, obviously, their football is just fine, but baseball has been pretty dominant there. But there's a big case study out there on how they got it done. The bottom left here, Arizona gets it done against Carolina.
That was the most impressive super regional performance of the weekend in my book.
Giving up that first game, 18-2. A lot of teams just pack it in, going, oh, boy, they're going to out-hit us the rest of the tournament. But that game 2, 10-8, they get it done. They do enough offensively in that game. And then brilliant pitching yesterday from Arizona, getting out of a lot of jams in that. They beat the number 5 seed Carolina, and they'll advance. I will tell you this. I know I'm a Tar Heel fan through and through, but just from a player perspective, there's got to be no better joy. One, to make it to the College World Series, okay? First of all, in the baseball sense, but to go on the road and do it in front of fans.
Against that North Carolina team,
yes,
playing incredible baseball at the end of the year.
Yes, they reached number 1 in the nation. They were at the 3rd best odds to win the College World Series, but Arizona gets it done. Wow. And then this other. How about Coastal?
The hottest baseball team in America.
Oh, my goodness. They go down to Auburn. They get it done. And just not even a contested super regional, really.
First off, did you guys stay up late for the Friday night game?
I did not.
Oh,
I might have been up late, but it
out?
wasn't for that.
Did you miss out on a game on Friday night where Coastal Carolina takes the lead, solo shot in the top of the 10th? They force it in extra innings by it was a little line shot to second base. Looked like it was going to get through. Second baseman lays out, makes a play, and doubles the runner off at second. So Arizona had a guy in scoring position. The exact same thing in the 10th. It was carbon copy to end the game in the bottom half of the 10th, where you get that little line shot to second. The second baseman gets a little too aggressive, or base runner at second, it's a little too aggressive, leads off. He gets doubled back off at second. Again, it was the exact same carbon copy play to end the game in that first one as Coastal Carolina gets it in 10. And then an impressive pitching performance from the Chants on Saturday, winning 4-1.
God, man, they're going to head there for the first time since last time they won it, I believe, in 2016.
And
53 wins, 53-11 on the season.
And with that, look at the top seeds that you have. Vandy, the number 1 seed, eliminated.
Boom.
Texas, the number 2 seed, eliminated. Arkansas, we'll get to them. They made it through. But Auburn, the 4 seed, eliminated. LSU, the 5 seed, eliminated.
Yeah, like I said, you only got 5 of those teams left.
And it's the top seeds that are gone. Arkansas is the highest remaining seed at 3. They're going to go up against LSU in the College World Series, who's 6.
Well, I'd tell you what. We'll get to that because that matchup's going to be super intriguing when you get to that.
Georgia, the 7 seeds, eliminated.
Out. I mean, Florida State, the 9 seed, Ole Miss, the 10, the Clemson, the 11, Oregon, the 12, Tennessee, the 14. We do have a Big 10 rep. UCLA will be there. The 15 seed Bruins, they get it done out in their region against UTSA. They'll advance. Like we mentioned, they will be waiting an opponent. Today at 7:00, you'll get the rubber match. Murray State put on a hitting clinic yesterday, 19-9 against Puke. They'll go tonight. Sorry, it just in my DNA. They'll play today, 7:00 ESPN, for the right to make it to Omaha. And the people are rejoicing in Omaha right now because the LSU Tigers advance in that game. That was an intriguing game for a while. 6-0 to get it going, and then they make it real interesting in that game. Their starter had some struggles. By the way, he gave up back-to-back or 2 home runs in the same inning to find out that was only his 5th and 6th home run he gave up all year long.
I'm glad LSU made it through because you look at the teams that are in as of now. You don't have many teams that are known for traveling very well. We'll see how Coastal does. I know they have a pretty passionate fan base out there. They haven't been since
16
when they won it.
When they won it. I think that's one of those, not dogging Coach Carolina, but teams like that aren't like mainstays are always in the mix, that you have a pent-up demand for teams like that to travel. Believe me, I am a kid from North Carolina. The intrigue to be in Omaha was always in my DNA. And now the fact that I live here, I love going up there all the time. But if you don't get the chances to do it very often, I have my former coach, one of my greatest coaches I've ever played for out there. Love him and passionate. He's making his first trip out to Omaha this year.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that North Carolina didn't make it because they usually travel pretty well. Arizona, we'll see how well they travel.
But I think those SEC schools, those two, because they're going to get Arkansas. And we all know Arkansas and Dave Van Horn making his 10th appearance, I believe now, 8 with Arkansas, made a couple appearances with Nebraska.
And Arkansas usually travels pretty well.
They will. I think coming back here, they'll have a ton of fans. Unfortunately, if we have to hear them call the pigs, that's going to make me sick. Maybe I'll just elude that game if we have to. That's as bad as the Vandy Whistler. I'm glad they're not there to hear a bunch of whistling going on out there. But intriguing SEC matchup, and you get it in round 1. You get it out of the gate. It's a lot of fun to happen. But again, you'll get that. These things, they got the schedule out yet? I'm missing these.
I think they do.
I don't think they have times for the games yet. We know the matchups. I don't think we know the times for the games yet. Right?
Yeah, I'm not seeing.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm just hoping if there's less traveling fans this year, maybe College World Series ticket prices won't be as insane as they usually are. They've gotten pretty crazy in recent years.
The day games aren't too bad.
It's the night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday games.
If you want to go to a night game between two good teams, it's ridiculous.
I miss the days whenever you'd get your general admission tickets for the outfield for $10.
$10. Yep. Go sit wherever you want.
Yeah. Now general admission's gone away. It's $50 to go sit out in the outfield. It's not what it used to be. I understand why they do it, but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, I remember my mom used to work for Mutual of Omaha back when they were in the Rosenblatt days, and they would buy the ticket books. They would sell the ticket booklets for out there. So, all right, here's what it looks like.
I think we do have times.
I do. I'm looking at it right now. If these are correct, Thursday they got practice. A lot of practice going on for free out there. Looks like Friday. They're going to kick off game 1 on Friday. 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock Friday.
Yeah, all times are Eastern. So, yep.
So, noon then?
I see 2 p.m. Eastern. So,
okay, so 1 p.m.
Central.
Friday. You get a 1 and a 6 on Friday at the first side. And then you'll get on Saturday a 1 and a 6 as well. And then they'll continue past that. So, 1 o'clock Friday, they'll have that first pitch going there. Gates open at 11. The Fan Fest, if you have kids down there, the Fan Fest goes on at 11 to 6:30. A lot of hoopla behind all that, but it's a awesome event if you ever get a chance. Sometimes it's just worth just going up there and hanging out, and hopefully the weather holds. It'll be hot.
No, you know there will always be consistently every single year one big time thunderstorm will roll through Omaha, and all the fans from everywhere will be terrified and be like, "Oh, it's just normal. It's a Midwestern thunderstorm for you." You can forecast at least one day as a thunderstorm and one day that will be like 103 degrees, 94% humidity. One of each day is guaranteed to hit Omaha during College World Series week. It was the first Saturday last year. We had that thunderstorm roll through in the evening and crazy clouds were coming through. It was coming down for a little bit and then it passed and they got to play the game that night.
Here's what it looks like so far. Just throwing it out there for the first week. And again, we know it's Nebraska and I'm not giving you the exact forecast. Looks like you've got 80 the first weekend, 87, 85, 89 with slight chances, 20 to 20% chances each day. Maybe. Who knows? So
by the time it rolls around, it's guaranteed we're going to have at least one thunderstorm.
You literally never know with Nebraska.
You never know. Never know.
But it always feels like there's that one big thunderstorm that rolls through in Omaha.
Yeah, it'll happen.
But good stuff. So again, one more spot to determine tonight, Gomer State. And then we'll have the full field set, full times, all that good stuff. So let's take our first break and we come back. Let's look at the NBA Finals. We got an MVP performance last night out of your MVP. Let's talk about that and a whole lot more when we return. Yeah, buddy. Good stuff. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Kobe. Yep, U.S. Open week, baby. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, you had to. Those things are like, those donuts never go bad. There's something in them. They can be, and they're still soft, right? They're still like, yeah. These donuts. Oh, boy. Good stuff. Good stuff. They do. Greg, thanks for the picture yesterday, man. I hope the event was a success, my brother. I don't know. How long do the dudes have to stay in the elevator? Oh, he's getting a song. How long would your the 6 dudes had to stay in the elevator for?
Oh, probably about 30 minutes. It wasn't too bad. You know where they wanted to go right after, though?
Hooters.
You bet.
It's right there.
You bet.
Where were you staying at? What place?
Homewood Suites.
Is it in the parking lot there? It used to be so when I would go down, it's been a long time. I used to stay at the Clubhouse Suites because we had restaurants there. And I was there for like 6 weeks in a row one time.
Okay.
For building a building and all that. I know exactly where that Hooters is.
Yep.
Like right in the parking. Was the hotel like in the same parking lot?
I mean, yeah, it was right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's intriguing. I think Elijah can answer that too.
What now?
I asked him how long his dudes were in the elevator for. He said 30 minutes. He goes, you know where they wanted to go right after that?
Where?
They had dinner. They had to go eat some dinner. Hooters.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I know where he's at. I've been there in that area.
I mean,
Did you take him?
Hey,
No, I didn't go.
but the kids went.
I was out on the patio drinking some Busch Light apples.
Yeah, you're like, leave me alone, dude. I've seen enough of you.
See, I'm counting down. Busch Light apples are fine. I have to have my one. Busch Light limes coming later this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have 40 of those on the 4th of July.
Just crown and water.
Just kidding. I'm working a Salt Dogs game on the 4th of July.
Just kidding. But the 5th, watch out.
I'm working a Salt Dogs game on the
The
5th.
3rd?
3rd I have off.
Hey.
I got the 4th, 5th, and 6th for Salt Dogs. So I guess
The dogs are tight. They're like creeping a little bit.
they're making up some ground. Couldn't get it done yesterday.
Sorry, they're creeping a little bit though.
They already got the first 2 games of the series. They got the 4th tonight, looking to go 3-1.
They're creeping a little bit. I'm out there tonight. We're gonna go out tonight. You know, it's NBA like Cyclones night.
It is. I can't be there.
We're gonna make our way out. Our 10-year-old plays.
My team will be there. Here we go.
No sleep till
Welcome back in the Morning Hookp. Hope you're having a great start to your week and your Monday. I feel like this is like the theme song for both you guys. No sleep.
Oh, I got good sleep.
Just
last
keep
night.
not last night.
This weekend, none.
It goes multiple days. It makes me think about Justice looked like he was on the drag side of things on Friday as well. Hope he got some sleep.
Well, we got the text from him at midnight. You guys are in tomorrow morning, right? I'm like, yeah, we're in Justice. So
Not it, right?
Yeah.
Not it. Awesome.
Justice will be with you tomorrow. So
Perfect. We got a little schedule that just went into play this week, right?
Yeah.
Get you guys on. We'll get on a regular routine, get you guys regular time off, regular sleep, and probably keep the higher ups happy.
there's no such thing as regular sleep in
No.
radio. Let's be honest. Working in radio,
And keep the higher ups happy.
yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
First and foremost. So last night, NBA Finals Game 2, the Thunder got it evened up, 123-107. Pretty much not a game after half when you really look at this. Shea put on a MVP performance last night, 34-5 and 8, 11 of 21. Got himself to the charity stripe quite a bit, 11 of 12 from there. Williams, welcome back, 19-5 and 5. He also got there, 8 of 9 from the charity stripe. Chet getting 15. You got Caruso and Wiggins. Those are scary when that stuff starts to happen right there with their two guys off the bench. Caruso comes out and gives you 20 off the bench. Wiggins gives you nice performance, 6 of 11, 18 points off the bench. They're going to be hard to beat with that lineup and the way they played. And they found a way right now, boy. Mr. Halliburton is figuring out this is going to be a little tough sledding. They're going to make hay for him and find out how to get him loose. He was okay, 17, 3, and 6. Turner had 16. So it's going to be really tough. This Thunder team made quite a bit of adjustments.
Yeah.
In that game.
And the Pacers that I think you can hang your hat on, they had 7 guys in double figures last night. And I should know, I didn't watch this game. I have seen this Thunder team enough. I kind of had an idea when I saw the final score what happened. I was pretty right here. The OKC just made sure no one in particular, and I look at Siakam and Halliburton, didn't let either of those guys beat them. Everyone got theirs a little bit, but whenever Shea has a Shea type performance, and Caruso with what he brings defensively, if he goes and puts up 20 points for you offensively, you don't lose. I mean, you got what you expected. Jalen Williams, 19, 5 and 5. That's a pretty classic game from him. Shea, 34, 8 and 5. That's for an MVP. That's what you expect. It's Caruso who steps up and pours in 20 along with Wiggins pouring in 18, where you go, if the Thunder get that, because they got their B guy. Like Jalen Williams, they got a B level type performance from him. You had 2 other guys step up and give you more than you expected. And you're not going to beat the Thunder if you have Caruso putting up 20 and Wiggins putting up 18. It doesn't matter what the Pacers do.
No, they found their way in there. They out-rebound. They get a bunch of rebounds, plus 8 on the boards last night. A bunch of assists, 25 assists on 40 makes. Love that stat. Found a way to the paint quite a bit, too. 42 points in the paint and played stellar defense. Again, they were up 18 and a half. And not say they cruised in the second half, but they didn't have to do too much. They win the third quarter by 1. They go into the third quarter. In the fourth, up 19 and only lose the third. It's pretty much at that point. They learned from game 1. Going in the fourth with a big lead and what could happen. And they did not allow that to happen and take advantage and tie that thing up 1-1.
I'm not going to read too much into last night's game, just like I didn't read too much into game 1. 7-game series are chess matches. And I think the Pacers, they might not have won the chess match in game 1, but they got that big performance late to steal one. And they've stolen home court advantage. I was expecting the Thunder to come out with their A game. Now it's the Pacers. You've seen 2-game sample size now with the Thunder. How do you respond? The Thunder, they're going to find themselves in the tougher spot on Thursday. All right, excuse me, not Thursday, Tuesday.
The 11th, whatever day that is.
Wednesday. Split the difference.
It's 3 days every game.
Yeah. So the Pacers have more on their plate. They get to see what the Thunder did through 2 games. They get to adjust. And now it's the Thunder that are probably going to have to be making in-game adjustments on Wednesday, which is the tougher place to be. The Pacers, they have home court advantage. They just have to hold serve at home. Easier said than done against the Thunder, but not necessarily unexpected how game 2 went. Now we'll see how the Pacers adjust heading into game 3.
Speaking of home court advantage, that roof might blow off in Indiana.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I think those fans are going to be absolutely electric in there.
Yep.
This will be intriguing. Currently, right now, the Pacers are getting 5.5. Thunder favorites headed there as well. But I tell you what, you watched the Thunder play last night. The way they moved without the ball, the way the adjustments they made. They definitely learned. You can see a team that was motivated, and they learned from game 1, especially when they got to the fourth quarter. And the conversations going, hey, we can't do what we did in game 1. So it's an intriguing matchup. I want to see that chess match fold out in Indiana now. And I agree with you, Caleb. That atmosphere is going to be off the chart. And the Thunder, it's just like any sport we play. When you go play on the road, the Thunder have to be aware that they're going to take some shots. How do they respond from those shots?
And usually in the playoffs, the home team gets to dictate early in the game with the level of physicality you get to play with.
Right.
That's typically how it goes. So the Pacers get to dictate more now that they're back on their home floor. How physical do they want this game to be played back at home? I'd expect less physical than what the Thunder like, but Pacers are a physical team in their own right. So I'll be, I don't know, I'll be semi-intrigued. Wednesday night will tell us a lot about how the rest of the series is going to go. The Thunder, they're going to be motivated to steal back home court advantage. But the Pacers, man, that is one of the more self-confident looking teams through this entire postseason run.
Are you guys on board with the final still? I know I've heard a lot of people say it's still the small market teams.
I love basketball.
It'd be interesting to see what the viewership looks like as the numbers start to creep out.
I'm on board for now. I think I'll be really locked in once you get to like games 5, game 6. Once you start getting teams that are in some closeout situations, that's when I'll really lock back in. I was not locked in at all for game 2.
No,
it
was a unique time because I think for me as a fan of whatever sport, I was hoping to be locked in college baseball.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I had a feeling I knew how last night was going to go.
I think the average fan also thought the Thunder were just going to come out here and dog walk everybody or
Mhm.
dog walk the Pacers, and
Yep.
we're kind of just like,
I'd
I
say,
don't
I'd say
know,
the casual fan, that
Yeah.
knows that, oh, Shea's the MVP. Oh, this Thunder team rolled through everybody in the regular season.
we're kind of just like, hang on, like this thing might go 6 or 7. Oh,
Oh, you did it.
Wow.
Thank you.
I knew it as soon as I said it.
He said or in between.
Believe me, 3 days ago, I was with a group of kids that had a great joy of what month we're in and the day we played.
Oh boy, yeah.
Number of times in the dugout, they hear that. It actually made me sick finally. So now I know I will not be saying it anymore if I can
Help it.
stay away from it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a service to all of you.
I appreciate it. It was old for me from the first time you said it.
I needed you be more like my wife. Just tell me right away, please.
Oh no, I'll let you.
Just tell me.
I'll let you play your little game.
I don't want to alienate our listeners. Just tell me right away. They might start tuning us out. Like I said, Wednesday, you'll get the game 3, Wednesday night, 7:30. ABC is going to bring you that one. Again, the Pacers getting 5.5. It'll be awesome to see. I think they'll always love these series, especially when someone hasn't been there for a while. The who's who of royalty for the Pacers will show up and be out there and relive and revive a team like that. And that'll be an X factor. I believe in that. These next couple of games is that crowd for them and how the Thunder can respond on that side. So coming up Wednesday, let's take another break. When we come back, the NCAA in the house, man, the payments are going to start flowing just in the nick of time. Talk about that, what that means. And we'll talk about how you don't get it twisted. We all know who's going to get the lion's share of the money, okay? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we return. Let's go. Show me the money.
Where'd
it go?
This house settlements, of course, they dropped on Friday night whenever I'm at a bachelor party.
Well,
I was
yeah.
like, I know we're gonna be talking about this weekend.
I'm looking at it now too.
Pretty much everyone's going off to bed. I went, give me 10 seconds, 10 minutes. I got to read through this
I
house
gotta
settlement
just
story.
leave me alone for a minute. I want to read this. Same thing. Like, what does this mean? Holy text messages. What is going on? People are just keeping up. Oh.
We're not back yet, are we? No, you just tested.
You're doing music.
You just
I'm
tested
like,
stuff
wait a
out.
minute. I'm not done reading. And I still don't know what it means.
I didn't realize you could hear that. Sorry.
Holy Christmas. Look at the comments we got. Elijah's going to break down the settlement for you. He's a quick reader, quick study, better brain.
And I already talked about it twice this weekend.
Yeah.
So. Plus this morning on the K4's morning news.
You bet. Yeah, you're not on there tomorrow, right?
As long as Schmitty's flights don't get canceled. You never know. You never know.
You're on standby.
I am on standby.
Standby.
Ready if needed.
Holy comments. I love this. Greg had a golf deal going on this week. 23 teams, a little smaller than years. Great time, though. Yeah, top 18 under. I can't believe that. The scramble 18 under. Ugh. Tough action.
Here we go.
Welcome back in the Morning Hookup. Fast moving first. I forgot to do the breathing thing. Sign.
Caleb was trying to protect me from my singing on a morning.
Let us loose. Hola, Ryan 840 said 2 mimosas deep already. Missed 840, deserves another Mexico trip after putting up for 10 years. Congratulations. 10 years. I don't hear you. I see lips moving.
I'm messing everybody's mind up.
Yours should be the one that doesn't get messed up.
I was going to say 2 mimosas deep at 9:45 in the morning.
I don't know, man. Look at that.
I wish I was like that.
No doubt. 10 years, big deal. I say that every year that I'm with my wife lets me hang around. I just say that from now on. She lets me hang around for another year. I think at some point you're just there. My father-in-law said this yesterday. It's so funny. And he's a funny guy. He's making a joke. We were sitting there talking yesterday. And my wife is like, hey, honey, love you, to me. I'm like, love you too. And they go, oh. And my wife goes, you should say that more to mom. He goes, yeah. After so many years, it goes from marriage to partnership. I'm like, what a classic. Little quick comment there. Well done. 10 years, big deal. Congrats. Kobe, the most controversial guy in wrestling is now a Husker.
AJ Ferrari.
Yeah, speaking of controversy, the NCAA and the old lawsuit settlement for the revenue sharing situation is happening. It's here. Finally, it's approved. Elijah, break it down for us. What does it mean? Roughly, football in that 13 to 16 million dollars. Like, don't get this twisted. There's about $20.5 million out there. The lion's share is going to go to your football programs, and we'll figure out the rest.
Yeah, I wouldn't say controversial here. It's going to be interesting. The whole point of this is to put guardrails on the NIL system, and you're never going to reach parity in college football. That's how college football works. There's always been haves and have-nots. There's teams with more resources and teams that don't have as many resources. If you're a Nebraska fan, you sit back and you're thankful. You might not be a truly big dog in college football right now, but you're in the upper echelon in terms of support. What this House settlement provides is your teams like Vanderbilt and Iowa State and Kansas and the teams that don't necessarily have the big funding for their football programs from a donor base. You know what? You can now take $20.5 million from your athletic budget every single year and share it with the players. So it allows them to get maybe not a full seat at the table, but allows them to be a little bit more competitive. Where now, if it's down to, say, Ohio State and Vanderbilt in a recruiting race for a quarterback, and the kid really likes Vanderbilt, but Ohio State can go offer $1 million more a year than Vanderbilt does. As it stands right now, the kid's going to be going to Ohio State. And what this provides in the future is now it gives an ability for Vanderbilt to look at a player and say, you know what, we really want you. You want to be here. We have more ability to now offer closer to what Ohio State is offering because we can pull money out of our athletic department budget for you. How does it affect Nebraska? We'll wait and see. Every school can implement it how they want. And the current estimation for a lot of schools around the country is 90% will go to football and men's basketball because they make the money for you. Nebraska is still going to have boatloads of NIL support.
Yep.
So what does Nebraska want to do with that money? I'll be curious, but it's a ruling that is going to allow the lower teams in college football, at least at the Power 4 level, to be able to be a little bit more competitive with your big dogs. That's what it provides. The most interesting facet is going to be this new commission.
Yes.
That is going to be able to determine if the value that players are receiving is in line with their market value or if it isn't.
How many lawsuits are going to come out of this on top of?
Well, like they're saying, like, yeah, You're going to send in the number for the player, the deal that you've signed, and within 48 hours, we're going to turn around and tell you whether
Yes
or
or
not
no.
it works, which we'll see how that gets implemented. That is probably going to be your new ruling body of college football moving forward. So how much the NCAA has got no teeth. How much teeth does this new commission, whatever you want to call it, have? That is to be determined. But that's going to be your new NCAA, at least in the college football side of things. They're going to be the ones that are coming in and regulating and making sure everyone's
So there's
following
a
the rules.
separate entity from NCAA.
Yes.
Okay.
NCAA has done what they set out to do pretty much, is step back, hide from all of this. And they're continuing to hide.
Mm-hmm. Now, what the goal is to provide guardrails for the NIL system. Will it actually work like that? This is not going to work like the NFL with a hard salary cap.
No.
It's going to be an ability to give your lower teams. This is a way to give the Oakland A's a closer payroll to the New York Yankees. That being said, the New York Yankees will always have a higher payroll than the Oakland
it's always going to be that way.
It's always going to be that way. But it provides, and this is just the baseball example, a chance for the A's to be a little bit more competitive. This is not for your teams like Ohio State and everybody and trying to drag them down. Not by any means. It's trying to lift the lower schools up.
Yep. I think interesting in this, as this has been approved and the settlement's moving on, and where we're at is the fact that what and how these schools now have to go to work to sit down from the budgeting side to make these calls. Actually, with Troy Dannon and the governing bodies of all that, they got to go sit down and figure this out, where the money goes, how the money's distributed, and how you force it through the entire programs, all of them. Really interesting.
Yeah, how are you going to implement this out? Which teams are still going to be funded by NIL? Which ones are going to get some of this school money?
Like, there'd be programs that might not get any of this, right?
Yeah.
There's a chance.
A good chance.
As you go through this 20.5, and if you're saying 90% roughly to football and basketball, then what happens after that? And you are navigating, you're navigating separate waters here.
Well,
a lot, right? Because you've got this rev sharing coming from school. You've got the NIL sitting over here that's not associated with the school, and figuring out the partnerships from this NIL perspective to which programs on this side.
Well, you could also look at this, and I've got no inside information here. Maybe this is how it gets used. Probably not. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. If I'm the University of Nebraska, what's easy to fund from NIL? Football. What's difficult to fund? Baseball, men's basketball. Do you take that money and funnel it into men's basketball and baseball and say, we trust that our donor support, our NIL folks will take care of football? It's a possibility. We'll see how Nebraska chooses to implement it. I mean, you look at Mississippi State, like they have gone all in on their baseball program. They just went and stole Virginia's head coach for $2.7 million a year. There's a chance that they could be sending 50, 60% of this money after their baseball program and saying, you know what, we're going to leave football by the side. We're going to leave basketball by the side. We're going to lock in and be baseball. And we're going to use this $20.5 million to make sure we're the top team in the SEC for baseball. That's a possibility as well. Each team gets to choose how they want to implement it. And I'll be really curious to see how teams across the country decide to implement this. As it stands right now, $20.5 million, which averages out to about 20% of your average Power 4 school's operating budget from the athletic side of things.
That 20.5 goes to what?
Directly to athletes.
Directly to athletes.
Okay.
That is earmarked for athletes and at the university's discretion of how each dollar gets used.
And you don't have to use the full 20.5 million if you don't want to. If you're not a school that has that in the budget, you can use less. Athletics will just fall behind. It's up to $20.5 million what you can use though.
And they'll take that, let's say roughly, if it's 9%, let's say it's 15 million. Football will go to 15 million, let's say, and then
3 million goes to basketball.
But then your GM of each one's got to go, okay, how do we work this out? There'll be the 20.5 budget. There'll be the 15 budget. There'll be the 3 budget. GMs will have that talent discretion and working with head coaches and things like that to figure out how that gets distributed.
And another element of this, which obviously it's not the news, but it's something we've talked about a long time. 105 is coming to college football.
It's coming, yes.
But the players that are currently on rosters are being grandfathered in. So it's only going to apply to these new incoming guys that start after this season.
It said that it will be introduced. That's coming. But it said under the plan, athletes who had their positions cut will be eligible for reinstatement at schools' discretion. So schools may decide if they're the kids that have been moved on, they might have that ability to bring it back. It also permits athletes who leave or are not retained by their current school would keep their grandfather status at a new school. That's a big one. Proposed roster limits, we know 105 for football. Men's and women's basketball is at 15, baseball 34. Intriguing number. What Nebraska does with that number 34 coming up. Men's and women's soccer 28, softball 25, and volleyball bumped to 18. It'd be intriguing stuff on I think when you talk roster limits, especially in some of those programs, we talk a lot about baseball here for sure. What Nebraska does, going from that 11.7 number right now to 34, how close they get to that.
And it'd be curious to see what there's going to be other schools across the country. That's why I brought up Mississippi State. They're going to go all in on 1 to 2 sports and let everything else be terrible. There's going to be schools that try to divvy up the pie and be great at everything. And I think that's probably close to what Nebraska is going to want to be because of the NIL support that you also get. But every school around the country is going to do this a little bit differently, how they're going to implement this. And be curious to see how it goes. We're probably not going to get full on results for how this goes probably until a year from now. That's when, because if you sign deals before June 1st, it doesn't apply to that 20.5. Like, it'll take a year before this fully gets implemented and everything is making sense.
Well, there's a lot around this.
If you've never really had like a good football program, though, is there really any incentive to like funnel money into it?
It's the moneymaker.
That's
and
again,
if it leads to better overall health for your football program,
I'm one that I think I would use Kansas as an example.
Sure, right.
Kansas as an example.
Recent years they've had success,
but overall, football brings the money to Kansas still too. If you look at it from a pure, I was talking to someone. This is way back, but when they weren't great. But I mean, we know basketball down there, right? But how many home games does basketball get a year? I don't know, 20, whatever.
Yeah, right.
They fill it out, 17,000. Football, even during those times, was still putting 30,000 a game. There's money still in the football program. And they've been through some turbulent years. Post Mangino, Turner Gill, Les Miles. Now, in recent years, yes. But football is still going to be the program that makes you the dough. So the investment for football, I think, is a major, major deal. I don't know many basketball schools out there. Duke, Puke, maybe the one basketball. They still fill their same up for football too.
And
I would just get into what Elijah said. I think it's interesting that, like he said, some schools are going to try and divvy it out to multiple different areas, and some are just going to focus on, like you said, Mississippi State going to funnel a ton of their baseball program. I mean,
you see what they're doing by bringing in I'm pretty sure he's the highest paid baseball coach in America now. The guy they got from Virginia.
Yes.
I think they made him the highest paid coach in America. If not, he's up there. I mean, that is a school that everything to me is saying, hey, we're a baseball school.
Yep.
You won a College World Series a couple years ago.
That's who we are. That's who we're going to be.
Football seems to always be at 6-6 or 7-5, if not worse.
I mean, you can look as close as Carolina football. It's never been prominent at Carolina. I mean, the Mac Brown days, yes, but it was always money for basketball. Now look what they're doing. They flipped the script with Bill Belichick. They're throwing so much money at football. And basketball is going to not suffer a little bit, but understand that. So, all right, let's take another break. Refill the coffee. We'll re-energize a little bit, too. When we come back, we'll go around the horn and talk to Major League Baseball.
Lincoln's local family-owned heating and air business.
Dave's Heating and Air is Lincoln's professionals you can trust. Whether you need service, repairs, or a new system, Dave's is here for you. Dave's wants your home to feel comfortable and cozy. Get the peace of mind guarantee and call Dave's for your HVAC needs.
Call me today at 402-480-3004 and talk with a professional. Dave's Heating and Air. Doing whatever it takes.
It's that feel, get that energy from it, and just imagine it in your house. I need that.
You've got your very own handyman to help remodel your home.
You see the whole package out on the big showroom floor. Handyman has everything you need. We've been looking at all the different options for sinks, for different faucets. They have every style, every finish that you could imagine. I had no idea that there were that many. That's why I love that they have the waterworks already in some areas set up where you can take a look at it, see how they work. It's amazing. My husband was the first one that was monkeying with the faucets. My grandson, he's in there test driving all the products. He's like, watch, Grandma. And you just basically pull it out of the faucet, push the button, and it's like a sprayer.
This June, save $30 on all kitchen sinks. See them at floor level. Test real water flow and feel the difference.
For the very best in bathrooms, come to Handyman under the arch on Sun Valley Boulevard, Lincoln.
Handyman.
Why'd I go to the doctor?
One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147 or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Tensions calming a bit in California following a weekend in which, for the first time in 60 years, the president ignored a governor's request and called up the National Guard on his own. 2,000 troops were dispatched to Los Angeles. ABC's Alex Stone is downtown.
Even at 2 o'clock in the morning, LAPD officers were reporting in that they were having rocks thrown at them and fireworks shot at them. There was some looting that went on overnight. While arrests were made, in many cases, all police could do was just keep pushing the crowd around downtown. People using everything from dumpsters to park benches as barricades as they battled the police, throwing concrete and fireworks at them.
ABC's Mary Bruce is at the White House.
The president bypassing the governor to call up the National Guard. Trump has long shown a willingness and eagerness even to use the armed forces to shut down protests. The president in this instance highlighting an issue that is central to his agenda and taking on a political rival in a blue state, going after Governor Newsom, who did not ask for this, doesn't support this.
Also in California, authorities are investigating a small plane crash off the coast near San Diego. 6 people were on board. A debris field was discovered on Sunday. They have been looking for wreckage in that area since. President Trump's travel ban took effect overnight. People from 19 countries either barred or severely restricted from entering the United States. A major egg recall because of a major illness. Here's ABC's Rebecca Jarvis.
The California-based August Egg Company is recalling 1.7 million brown organic and brown cage-free eggs distributed across 9 different states. The eggs are linked to a salmonella outbreak that sickened 79 people. 21 of them have been hospitalized, but thankfully no deaths have been reported there.
Tropical storm Barbara has strengthened into a hurricane, the first of the Pacific hurricane season. The Dow is down 95 points and the S&P is up 5 points. This is ABC News.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA.
A busy weekend for Lincoln Police. Good morning. I'm Jeff Moats. 66 degrees at KFOR. At last check, 2 people were in critical condition with serious injuries after both suffered gunshot wounds late Saturday morning near 26th and Potter. Lincoln Police say a 41-year-old Lincoln man and 32-year-old Lincoln woman suffered the gunshot wounds. The man had to be life-flighted to a hospital in Omaha for further treatment. A 30-year-old Lincoln woman is accused of assaulting 2 police officers outside the Royal Grove just before 2 o'clock Sunday morning. That's after several disturbances and fights were happening. LPD says that Akila Akbar was seen interfering with an arrest being made on another person by grabbing onto that person and pulling him away from the officer. Police said the officer tried to pull Akbar away, but she allegedly punched him on the left side of his face and neck. A second officer saw what happened, and he grabbed Akbar to take her into custody. As that was happening, police say Akbar apparently assaulted him by grabbing his face and shoving her fingers inside his mouth. Police say Akbar resisted arrest in a search for a purse, found a loaded 9mm handgun with a round in the chamber. Investigators say that she had never at any point said that she had a gun. Police later determined Akbar was under the influence. She was arrested for 2 counts of assault on a police officer, carrying a concealed weapon under the influence, and carrying a concealed weapon with no disclosure. Bipartisan legislation has been co-sponsored in the House of Representatives by 5 members of Congress, including Nebraska Republican 1st District Congressman Mike Flood, in addressing staffing shortages at the National Weather Service. The Weather Workforce Improvement Act was introduced on Friday.
The bill reinforces the public safety mission of the National Weather Service and grants the National Weather Service temporary direct authority for hiring positions related to public safety.
It also grants the Weather Service direct hiring for the following positions: meteorologists, general physical scientists, hydrologists, computer specialists, and electronic technicians. Sunshine today and a high of 77. Right now it's 66. I'm Jeff Moats, KFOR News.
Dad deserves more than just one day of appreciation. This Father's Day, help Dad feel his absolute best with Limitless Male. If he's been feeling off, it could be low testosterone. June is Men's Health Month at Limitless Male. Get a complete blood panel and personalized treatment plan for only $49.95. That's a $500 value. Find out the real reason for low energy, brain fog, muscle loss, belly fat, and more. Schedule now at limitlessmail.com.
Jazz in June 2025 is here. The iconic free-of-charge music festival makes its return once again on campus, downtown Lincoln. With the area's best food trucks available on site starting at 5 and newly added Kids Zone, there's something for everyone. Jazz in June is every Tuesday night in the month of June with music starting at 7. This week's featured artist is Katie Georgie. For more info, complete season schedule, and VIP tickets, visit jazzinjune.com. That's jazzinjune.com. Great jazz in the great outdoors.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back in the Morning Hookup, hour number 2. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll get to a bunch of the comments here later on. We appreciate you guys.
Into the 5th hour of live radio here,
Here we
on
are.
KFOR with Elijah Herbal. Hope you're having fun.
Number 5.
Hope you're having fun with me here.
There's still a couple more to go later today, aren't there?
Yeah, 4 to 6 this afternoon. And don't forget, I'll be in here for afternoon news as well. So you're at the top of every single hour. It's Elijah Herbal's day on KFOR. That has not been proclaimed by the mayor just yet, but I'm hoping that, next time.
Feel free to drop off snacks on the front porch. Some fuel for the fire later on.
Some double cheeseburgers.
Yeah, just drop them off. Keep them sealed, though. Just let them know you're there. We got donuts. So.
Speaking of Elijah Herbal and food, the nacho cheese on the hot dog.
Elite move.
Incredible play. Incredible.
Elite move.
Never seen it before. I thought it was mustard. And then I read the comments and I was like, nacho cheese. Wow.
If I get a hot dog and whether this be at a concession stand at high school sporting events, college sporting events, gas stations. If there's nacho cheese and hot dogs served
It's
in the
going
same
on there?
place, I'm asking. I'm like, hey, you throw. I'll pay extra. You throw nacho cheese on there.
I would never have thought that. Oh, the cheese side.
It's so good. To me, if they don't have it, I like mustard, a little relish, some sauerkraut.
You're not a ketchup on there, are you?
I can do ketchup. But if you have like the whole condiment thing set out for me, I won't do the ketchup. If it's very bare bones, you have mustard and ketchup set out, I'll do a line of ketchup, 2 lines of mustard, call it good.
I'm a traditionalist in my world. I just occasionally I throw some relish on there, but it's ketchup mustard.
Try some nacho cheese sometime.
And no better hot dog. And I'm not dogging anybody else out. This is just my personal preference. No better hot dog than making the turn on a golf course. Play 9. You go refresh your beverages. Hot dog at the turn.
My problem is that's the one place they ain't got nacho cheese at the turn very much. I'm telling you though, don't knock it till you try it.
Kobe doesn't like your mustard take. It's beep disgusting.
There's so many different kinds of mustard though. That's the thing.
Brandy,
It's got that
40.
tanginess
All right,
to
40.
it.
I'm jealous. Instead of refreshing my coffee, I'm heading to the beach.
If they have hot dogs with nacho cheese there, Ryan, I recommend it. I'm telling you guys, one of these days.
Look, man, whatever he's at is probably a nacho cheese fountain.
I would love that on a hot dog. No, but nacho cheese and hot dog is an elite play. I recommend it. Probably not for everybody. If you like nacho cheese, if you like hot dogs, you'll like nacho cheese and a hot dog.
Thanks, Kobe. Kobe says, great take. That's it. Honestly, I'm a hot dog guy. I'm a hamburger guy first. Cheeseburger. All right. I don't eat many of the hot dog, maybe like 9 off the grill, but like the turn, oh my gosh. We get to the golf course. I play most Wednesdays, typically every Wednesday. And we'll get to there. We'll get our play, we'll start all this stuff. And then we'll make sure we'll poke in our head in. All right. Just make sure one of those are 3 or 4 of those are ready when we get back. Cause there's, playing a 5-man captain's group. Everybody gets a hot dog at the turn.
There's a spot around here that does breakfast quesadillas at all hours of the day. A breakfast quesadilla at the turn hits different.
Oh,
I do like dogs at the turn though.
They're the best. Kobe, same thing. Dogs that turn nothing better. He said I'm a cheeseburger guy too, but hot dogs have their moments when they shine. They do.
Speaking of somebody who shined this weekend,
woo, go for it.
Look at that transition.
How about the Boston Red Sox taking 2 games from the New York Yankees?
What is going on? Yankees loser of 2 straight, obviously coming via the Red Sox, who are, let's just say, playing a little better baseball right now. Yankees hold a 4.5 game lead over Tampa and Toronto right now, as both Tampa and Toronto had really good 10 game stretches. 7-3 for Tampa. Toronto winners of 8 of 10 coming in. Boston 5-5 over the last 10, winners of 2 straight, only 8.5 back.
I hope Jazz Chisholm is eating his words that he put out on Twitter yesterday.
Remind us what he said.
He said, I think there should be more trash talk in baseball. Anyone else agree? Anyways, free smoke at 7:00.
Wow.
And then they go out and lose.
Wow. About that. The Central is still being dominated by Detroit. So I go for it.
I was going to how do you guys feel about that? Do you think there should be more trash talk in baseball?
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's...
I was a trash talker. Through and through.
I'm trying to think how to say this. Yes, but it's constructive type stuff. Like, here's the deal. Let's go back to the game 1 of Arkansas, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
that
dude
Tennessee
spit,
batter, yeah.
Woo!
And then pointing down, yeah.
Getting all that smoke there. I'm in for that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's disrespectful, when he looks and he spits towards the whatever he spit at, and that dude's because now when you do that, be ready for all the smoke. Know it's coming.
Exactly.
Know it's coming. Be ready to back it up. Be ready to play. I'm good for it. Just keep it within the friendly confines of the competition of the sport.
There's a time and a place for trash talk. Like earlier in the season, we had some kids on my youth baseball team that were trash talking, and we were down 5 runs. I'm like,
that ain't the time.
You look dumb.
Read the room.
Yeah.
Or I hate whenever people are trash talking up 8 too. In a competitive baseball game, I can understand emotions running high in a competitive baseball game, and you're going to be competitive. I'm fine with that. There's a time and a place. It's funny whenever you say trash talk, because trash talk itself is inherently disrespectful, but there's levels of disrespect to trash talk. And I can't define where my line is, but there is a line as an umpire of disrespect where I go, all right, that's enough. That's enough.
I'm also
there's
old school thought of actions speak louder than words.
I'm in the same boat as you, but there's
let the actions of your game do the talking. Let them talk. Let them talk.
There's competitiveness and then there's disrespect,
mm-hmm.
and it's a fine line between the two. I'm cool with competitiveness. I dislike disrespect.
Yeah.
That's how
I was always one that I didn't do a lot of it, but I did it with my facial expressions. When I know I buckle those knees, just a quick little smile, just to get just a little tip of the cap, little smile,
little strut.
Yeah, it's just the way I approached it. I never really wanted to talk that much. So, we got a comment. Did we miss one?
Just a Yankees fan going back and forth with a Red Sox fan. That's all it is.
Oh, I love it. Here we go.
Hooksy, we didn't get to talk with you since the Rockies pulled off the miracle.
I don't even know.
The miracle in Miami.
I was so disappointed that I wasn't on the air that day. I mean, I would have brought in like a cake.
Yeah, we got to celebrate something.
We had some fun with it. The Rockies did return back to their losing ways after that.
Well, it was an out-of-body experience. They didn't know how to handle the success either.
Miracle in Miami, followed by the disappointment in Denver, as they get swept by the Mets. None of the games were really all that competitive, and
they like been on the road.
Giants.
They like been on the road. Detroit maintains their 7-game lead in the Central. Again, I keep saying this. The AL West is like the most forgotten division in all of baseball right now because nobody's really talking about it. Houston coming off a winner 6 out of 10. The rest of the division really struggling. Houston now leading that division by 2.5 in that one. The NL East, boy, I'm disappointed. Those Braves, they are just, 7 straight losses. I think the last 3 to the Giants in some type of walk-off, one-run fashion. Their bullpen is a complete disaster right now. They've won 2 out of 10, losing 7 straight. But the Mets continue. Look at that division. The Mets have won 8 out of 10. Talking about a struggle bus. What is up with the Phillies? The Phillies have now lost 5 straight games. Winners of only 1 of their last 10 to fall 4.5 back. Poof. They got a lot of dudes. They're not hitting the baseball right now at all when you look at their lineup. But don't count them out.
I might count them out.
Nope. Cubs still leading 6 out of 10. They're 4 games up on Justice Cardinals. He'll probably have a lot to say about that. Wait
a minute. Did the Phillies get swept by the Pirates?
They did. Yeah. Look at the scores. What were the scores?
We got 5-4, 2-1, and 2-1. Wow.
What I mean, they're not hitting the baseball. They're not hitting the baseball.
I'm about ready to count out the Phillies.
They're 4.5 up.
I get struggling against schemes. I mean, everybody struggles.
But they struggle against the entire slate.
But
that goes back further. You can go back and look at their core 4 or 5 are like in a bad spot right now.
I mean,
it's a long season. Only 65 games in.
It's just it's a 7 out of 10 roster. Is kind of how I view the Phillies. The roster is just all right, right?
Yeah, I think it's all right.
Like Trey Turner, his career has been up and down. Bryson Stott, who cares?
Kyle
Schwarber.
Isn't Harper on the DL right now?
Alec Boehm, I know he's a Nebraska kid, but he strikes me as
he's up and down. He's a roller coaster.
Yep. Same way. Castellanos, roller coaster. Kepler's a heartthrob for some reason, but I don't think he's a great baseball player.
It's like I agree with you. Just a whatever kind of roster.
It's good enough to beat the bad teams. It's not good enough to beat the great teams.
Nope.
That's why, they might sneak into the postseason.
They will, based on I think how bad how bad the NL site is.
And they have a great fan base that can carry them, but I don't see them making a whole bunch of noise in the postseason. It just feels like a team that's slightly past their prime. 2 years ago, great.
Yeah.
But now it feels
they
like
might have missed that window.
That's on the downturn.
The West is still highly competitive as we're 65 or so games in. Dodgers leading the Padres and the Giants just by 1 game right now. Interesting. I was looking at the wild card situation right now when you're talking about teams and then the playoffs and position. Again, long way to go. 100 games left still out there. Let's see here. Sorry. This thing is kind of being a little. Right now, you've got this way. It says the Tigers, Yankees, Astros, all leader division. Wild card pretty much tied up when you look at it. The Twins, Rays, Blue Jays right now holding on to those spots. And 3 teams back there. Just a half game or a game and a half back. The Guardians, the Mariners, and a game and a half back. How about the Royals? Only a game and a half back of the wild card situation right now. NL, you got the Mets, Cubs, Dodgers all leading. Padres, Giants, Phillies. Phillies are sitting right there with the Cardinals a game back and the Brewers 2.5 back currently in the wild card.
Quickly here.
Quickly.
Caglione?
Yeah.
His first multi-hit game with the Royals came over the weekend.
Have you watched him hit? There's more contact out of that bat. Like his first game out 0 for 5 was the most unlucky 0 for 5 I think you'd seen.
Yeah, I mean, it was an unlucky 2 for 21
Yes.
to start off your career, and then you go 4 for 4 on Sunday. I think he's like the third player in MLB history to have a 4-hit performance within his first 10 games, something like that. I mean, squared up a whole bunch of balls. He hasn't gotten rewarded for it.
Yep.
Finally got rewarded for it on Sunday.
He'll be fine. As you continue, let's look at the stat wise. Aaron Judge continues to lead the pace here. He actually upped his average over the weekend, 396 right now out there. Cal Raleigh is bombing home runs for the Mariners right now, by the way, 26. He's setting the pace right now, 3 over Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani's got 23 as well. Pete Alonso heating up, driving runs in all across the board, 61 RBIs, setting the pace. Rafael Devers. Like, this is a good story. The way he started from the offseason to being not, moved to the DH, all that, and then the controversy, was he going to get back in the field? 57 RBIs right now and hitting the baseball really well. Judge, 95 hits, 5 away from 100 already, 65 games in. Still boasting that 493 on base percentage, slugging 771. Silly numbers.
MVP.
I mean, it's just handed out now.
Something would have to, I mean, injuries are probably the only thing that could prevent him from going on to an MVP, right?
Right. Yeah.
I know we're still early, but like he's running away with it.
Jared Duran's got 7 triples, setting the pace there. One ahead of Corbin Carroll at Arizona. Garrett Crochet still leading the pace, 110 strikeouts. Flamethrower, he's throwing the baseball.
Scooball, what's his ERA sitting at?
Not in the top 5.
Not in the top 5.
Not in the top 5 right now. Chris Bubic, is that for the Royals? Yeah, 1.43. He sets the pace right now. In the ball 1.56. Max Fried out there at 1.78.
Right, here you go. Scooball 6-2, a 2.16 ERA with 105 strikeouts and a 0.82.
My goodness.
WHIP. That's Cy Young type season.
Yeah, 0.82.
And the Tigers have a great defense behind him, but he's twirling the pearl pretty well.
Oh, my goodness. Some of these guys are just flat out playing good baseball. Sweet. Well, there's your little round the horn baseball update. Speaking of that, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more baseball. Can't wait to talk to Evan Bland to get the take on we got 8 dudes in the portal right now for Nebraska that have moved on. We've got 1 that said he's coming back. Interested to see what the take is overall, what the sense of the overall Nebraska program is. And we'll talk College World Series with Evan Bland when we return. Did you see the bomb that Anthony hit? Roman Anthony hit? AAA?
Yeah, 497.
497.
Yeah.
Give it. 497. Aw. All
right, I'm going to get Evan on the line.
Let's go. That was a bomb. 497. My goodness. This back and forth with you guys is awesome. You and Kobe. I love inter-rival comments coming back. Let's go. Morning, Ernesto. Turner's bad at shortstop. Needs to move. Yeah, they got problems out there. Running it for you. The morning hookup hits different with a cocktail in my hand and the waves crashing in. My gosh, that just sounds majestic. Majestic. I love rivalry talk, especially what's going on in the stream. Kobe being a Yankees fan, the Red Sox fan. Ryan 840 said the morning hookup hits different with a cocktail in his hand and the waves crashing.
Actually, we got Evan up now. Can you guys hear him?
Hey, Evan.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Good. Are we back on? Are we good? No, we're not back on yet. Not back on yet, but
going in about, 5 seconds?
5 seconds. Awesome.
Now everybody, have you heard? If you're in the game, well, then the stroke's the word.
Welcome back in the morning hookup. Having a great time hanging out with you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's turn to our guy from Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland. Evan, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, guys.
So we're running this contest on the website, KF4now.com. It's a great question, I think, because I haven't thought about it, but right now you can go on the website, enter in to win 2 tickets to any major league sports game out there. You win the tickets, any major league sports game. Evan, if you won them, what would be any major league sports game you'd go to?
I think it's regular season.
Regular season. Any regular season game.
You're talking Major League Baseball.
Any major
sporting
any major sporting event.
Oh, major sporting event?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Boy. You know, I've never been to a major golf tournament. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, does the Masters, would that be part of that? I'd go to Augusta and check that thing out. That'd be pretty amazing.
That was Schmitty's answer as well, so I do think that applies.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, it does.
Oh,
Okay.
no, yeah. The Masters applies. I'm pretty sure. That'd be cool. It's sacred grounds down there.
Sign me up for that. Some pimento cheese sandwiches and kind of throwbacks. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, that's awesome. Good stuff. Well, Evan, let's talk a little baseball. A lot of baseball going on still as Omaha will become the epicenter for college baseball coming up. But more about Nebraska right now. Let's look postseason happening. 8 guys in the portal. Some names that you'll notice with Silva, Bolin, Brumbaugh. Talk about those guys moving on and maybe a thought of maybe why, how, what's going down. Because I know a lot of people now are like, oh, what's going on with the program? Part of me is I think college baseball is a lot like other college sports. Basketball, football. These schools will prey on, I use the word prey very loosely, okay? So they will maybe recruit seasoned guys who have experience to come and maybe back a little south.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of college athletics now. I mean, it's a little different because you think about a year ago, Nebraska baseball pretty much retained everybody that they wanted to. And so it's a little bit jarring, I think, for fans to see, I think it's up to now 11 transfers that are looking for a new home or have a new home in the case of Caden Brumbaugh. And, you know, I kind of viewed last year's team as almost a 2-year sort of deal with as many junior college players as they brought in. They were an older team this year. And so this is kind of a reset in a lot of ways. And that's not to say that Nebraska wouldn't have kept Caden Brumbaugh. I think they would have preferred that he stay. But he's an Oklahoma kid who's now getting a chance to play for his home state school. He just got a firsthand view of what that program can be at the regional in Chapel Hill. And then I think a lot of the other guys that you're seeing transfer out, they've either been in the program for a year or two, and usually they're guys who haven't played much, if at all. And so you're looking for playing time and the chance to maybe enjoy your college career in a little bit of a different way. They did get Joshua Overbeek back at third. I think that was an important get. That's a guy who, again, would have been out of eligibility had the NCAA not made that ruling last winter, granting an extra year to guys who had been junior college players. So that's a nice first step. You're still waiting on decisions from guys Ty Stone would be one of them, who's been the first baseman. He's been an all Big Ten guy for them in the past. Casey Dice is another one who's been a key reliever the last couple of years. So you still have some decisions to be made. Obviously, they made a portal addition in Kevin Monell, who's a former Mississippi State reliever, who was a really strong JUCO starter. So we're still pretty early, I think, in the roster reshaping that Nebraska is going through. You still have guys that will have to make decisions. I'm sure you'll still have some attrition that takes place. And I think Nebraska, too, is very willing to add through the portal if the right opportunity comes up. So we're a week into that open portal session. I imagine you're still going to see some more comings and goings here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think the simplest way to put it is it's going to be an off-season of change, but the sky is not falling. There's just those core pieces that you have to keep around. And the core pieces I'm thinking of are younger guys that you can build around with, whether it be JUCO guys or portal guys, or even high school recruits. And I look at you might have a weekend rotation already set, assuming McConaughey comes back from injury, assuming Ty Horn sticks around, assuming Timmerman can make a step this offseason. That could be your weekend rotation set. You look at some of the pieces you have in the lineup. I mean, Max Butenbach, he showed why he deserved all the at-bats he was getting late in the season before the sickness. You also look at Devin Nunez. That's the guy that you want to build around. Carey, Sanderson. I mean, there's a lot of core pieces to build around. It just comes down to Will Bolt finding the right complementary pieces, diamond in the rough style, go in JUCO, go in transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. They do have a lot of core guys that'll come back, and you hope they do. I mean, you just never know. In this portal era, guys can get opportunities and go in really and through July 1st. That's when the portal window closes. Even you hear stories about guys that go off to summer ball and show out and get opportunities just based out of that. So certainly the guys that you mentioned are some that Nebraska is going to want to build around. You want to add some supplemental pieces through the portal. That's tended to be what Nebraska's done anyway. And then you keep tabs on these guys that go away for the summer and get better. I mean, Butenbach was a bench piece a year ago, had a great summer in the Northwoods, and comes back and has done what he's done. Ty Horn was a guy who had a great summer last year. So oftentimes you can see what these guys could become in the summer as they start stacking at bats or innings or whatever it might be. And then, that's to say nothing about the junior college players that they're bringing in, like a guy like Mac Moyer, the son of Jamie Moyer, longtime MLB pitcher. He's had a really good season as an outfielder at the junior college level. A number of other players kind of fit into that same boat as well. And then really the other thing we haven't talked a ton about too is the Major League Baseball draft next month. That's going to be something you're going to have to watch with McConaughey. I think teams are still going to be interested in his ability and his potential, even though he was hurt this year. I think some teams view that as an opportunity, maybe to have a chance to draft him a little bit lower and build him back up. I think Dylan Carey might garner some interest, if not as a draft pick, then as a undrafted signee. Luke Broderick, who was the closer, who was Nebraska's really their best all Big Ten player this year, I think will get some looks. So that's kind of the other thing that you have to work through if you're Nebraska. So a lot of uncertainty, I guess, when you start talking about how you piece this thing together. And add on top of that, you're trimming from 40 members of a roster to 34 because of the House settlement that just passed. So now that becomes official, and that's something that they'll have to have down to 34 by next December. So you can still get through the summer and the fall, but there are a lot of moving pieces still that they're working to figure out.
Evan, something we talked about on the show was sort of the lack of an offensive identity from the Cornhuskers this season, which might have led to some inconsistencies. Now with some of these core pieces leaving, what do you think we need to bring in to sort of fill in those gaps offensively?
Well, I think the first thing is you have to figure out what you want to be as an offense. I mean, you think about Nebraska started the year with notions that they were going to be a power hitting team, and then that sort of shifted during their West Coast trip to more of a small ball approach where they are going to lay down some sacrifice bunts and try to steal some bags. And then it went back to hitting from a power perspective again. And then late in the year, they went all in on speed and small ball when you had Riley Silva and Robbie Bolin both in the outfield at the same time. So I think the first thing you have to do is say, what do you want to be? And sometimes their offense has been based more on speed and getting on base. But I think you look around at the teams, like you just watched the Super Regionals this last weekend, or you see who's made it in Omaha, most of the profile for most of those teams is versatility and scoring. So yeah, it's great if you can manufacture a run, but you also need to be able to produce some quick offense, get a 2-run home run, a bloop and a blast, something that makes it so it's a little easier to mount a rally against some of these high-end arms. So that's, if I were Nebraska, that's the first thing I would do, is say, how can we add a little bit more thump to this lineup? How can you bring back a guy like Tyler Stone, who was one of their power leaders this year? Maybe Max Butenbach takes that next step. So you can do some of that internally. But I do think in terms of how you recruit and maybe what you're looking for in the portal, having a little bit more of that thump in your lineup is probably that next step as you're trying to break through, be more consistent, to contend in the Big Ten, and then maybe make that regional run that we just haven't seen Nebraska do in now 20 years.
It's Evan Bland with us here, the Omaha World Herald, talking some Husker baseball. And Evan, had you had a chance to dive in and think about how this House settlement changes how Husker baseball constructs its roster? Do you have any insight into what might change for Will Bolton Company?
Well, I think the key thing with that is what Nebraska views for itself in that program. Like, you think about just the resources now required to contend at the highest level of college baseball. Starting next year, these teams that are really serious about baseball are going to fund anywhere between 25 and the maximum 34 on their roster. Those teams are or have already invested heavily in facilities with player development and NIL as well. And Nebraska has some work to do there, to be quite honest. Like, I think the athletic department needs to first figure out how much are they going to fund with scholarships. Is that number going to be somewhere in the 20s? Because there are going to be some Big Ten teams that I've heard aren't going to raise their scholarship totals at all. You're going to still see teams in the Big Ten fund 11.7 like teams have for decades. So where does Nebraska fall in that? Where does Nebraska, what's its level of urgency in refurbishing Haymarket Park, like the locker rooms, or adding a player development center in left field? Because you go around, you go to a regional in Arkansas, or you go to a regional in Oklahoma State or North Carolina, and you see what you're going up against, and you see what these other recruits are seeing on their visits. Like, that's the goal. So I think from a support perspective, Nebraska's doing great. They're top 15 nationally in attendance every year. It's a place that people like to be. The new facility with the nutrition and the strength training is attractive. So there are certainly elements, but I think to me, the key is, again, now in this revenue sharing era, when athletic departments have to put on a spreadsheet how they're going to allocate resources to all these programs, where does Nebraska baseball fall into that? And then what's their ceiling going to be based on that support?
Again, we're speaking to Evan Bland with Omaha World Herald. Well, Evan, postseason is here. We're in the summer. There's summer assignments. Upwards of 15 Huskers headed to different assignments throughout the country. Talk us through some of the places where they're going and what the different leagues mean, whether it be West Coast, Coastal Plains. And because a lot of people will know what the Cape Cod League is. If you ever watched the movie Summer Catch, it'll tell you all. Yeah. Jessica Biel won't be there, but 4 Huskers will be.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be mowing any lawns down there this summer. But no, it's that's what I always look at, is like who's going to Cape Cod, and then who goes everywhere else. And so, like, I think the thing that I always try to remember with these summer assignments is not everyone is created equal. So if you're going to the Cape Cod, you're going against some of the best college talent out there. You're looking to take that next step as a player. A lot of your younger players or guys who are new to the program, they're going to go to the Northwoods or the Sunflower Collegiate, or they're going to go to the West Coast or the Alaska Baseball League. And usually the goal there is just to play as much as you can. Get out there every day. How many innings can you get in? Can you play 50 games this summer? And kind of like we talked about earlier, that's where you see a ton of development in guys, especially younger players that maybe didn't play every day at Nebraska or wherever they're from. They get out there, they're growing into their bodies a little bit more. They try to tweak their swing or add a new pitch or something, and they can come back very different players oftentimes. So you don't always see a lot of the older guys travel as much. Sometimes they choose to stay home and work on themselves. Or if you're a pitcher that maybe saw an increased usage this spring. You don't go out just because of arm maintenance and things like that. But yeah, I mean, the Cape Cod guys were interesting. I'm trying to remember who they all were. I know TJ Coates was one, Luke Broderick. Those guys are what that tells you is those guys are somebody that Nebraska sees as bigger pieces to what they want to be next year. They believe in their ability. They feel like they can hang with that level of competition. So it's always interesting kind of checking in on the summer. And then when they get back in August, I think it's to me is always the first clue for maybe who some of those breakouts are going to be for the next season.
And then are there any clues, good use of word, clues on reason why you might see a guy like Ty Horn on a list like this, or a guy that, had a great summer and Matt Sputenbach not on one of these lists?
I'm trying to remember, was Horn on a list this year?
No,
this summer?
I haven't seen him on the list that was produced by out there.
Okay.
He's on a list, but he's not in the list the University of Nebraska released.
Okay. Well, and that makes sense because, and sometimes like these guys go out for like 3 weeks or a month and they have an innings limit. Like they're saying, hey, go get, 30 innings somewhere and come back. So I think Horn fits that bill pretty well because you think he saw a ton of action this year. He was a rotation regular and I'm sure he will be again next year. So Nebraska has a pretty good sense of what they have in him. He worked a lot, so it makes sense that he wouldn't be out there. Butenbach, he's been working through that illness, and so time can run out pretty quickly. He did play a lot this year. Maybe Nebraska has a better sense of what they have in him, and he can do some more individualized work back here. So it's very much a case by case basis. They don't kind of send these guys out, in sort of blanket fashion. So, and also a lot of these assignments tend to be made before this season. So it's not like Nebraska always can say, hey, how did this guy do? We're going to send him here. Like because of housing arrangements and things like that, oftentimes these guys have to know where they're going in the winter before the spring season even happens.
Evan Blaine with us here. And Evan, before we get you out, do you want to get your thoughts? We know 7 of the 8 College World Series teams, some newer faces, I guess. LSU is going to be your traditional. I mean, they're going to send all the fans up here, and that's awesome. But there's some other fan bases that maybe don't travel as well. What are you looking for with the College World Series getting underway this weekend, and what fan bases are you excited to see?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Here's one factoid that you're going to hear a lot about with the College World Series. It's the first year since 1957 that you have no team making back-to-back appearances. So, yeah, LSU won it 2 years ago, but they weren't here last year. None of the other teams that are here were here last year. Certainly Murray State and Duke weren't, so that won't change based on how tonight goes. So that part's interesting. The other thing I think you'll remember about this College World Series is you think about a year ago, and it was represented by 2 conferences. It was the SEC and it was the ACC. This year, you're already guaranteed to have 6 and maybe 7 if Murray State wins and you get the Missouri Valley in there. So in this time now where we're shifting in college athletics to rev share and the gap between the haves and the have-nots continues to widen, I think it's very appropriate that before we make that flip into July and this new paradigm shift, that you have almost very much a throwback College World Series field where you are represented by some bigger schools, some surprises. It's a very eclectic mix, like we haven't really seen in Omaha for a while. So we'll see how it fills out. I mean, it's going to be a great story either way. If Duke makes it, it hasn't been in Omaha since like the 60s, early 60s. And I don't believe Murray State's ever been here, and they're a regional 4 seed. So I think it's a healthy mix of power fan bases like LSU and Arkansas. You can bet that they're going to send people in droves, but you're also going to have maybe some of those smaller underdog stories that locals will be able to get behind as well.
Yeah. Do you think the locals hop on that Coastal Carolina bandwagon? Probably the hottest baseball team in America. They ran through Auburn in the regional, or super regional, I should say. I think that's probably my bandwagon team. You think that's going to be a pretty popular pick?
Yeah, they're right up there. I mean, 23-game winning streak coming to Omaha. It's hard to think of any team that's been hotter than them. I will say if Murray State gets here, people are going to get behind the Racers, and it's going to feel like a basketball game out there. And here's one other kind of fun one too, is you've got 3 teams in the field in Arizona, Oregon State, and UCLA that were Pac-12 schools last year. Here they are representing 3 different leagues now. And it's just kind of ironic that in the year after the league goes away, it has its best College World Series representation since the late 80s. So that's another kind of fun little subplot and something that we can watch here in the next couple weeks.
Well, one can only hope Murray State gets it done. There's enough ugly blue up in Omaha already. We don't need more of that.
Yeah, sorry about your Tar Heels there. That was a rough one. I thought they were going to make it through.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. College baseball, that's the way it is. You can win 18-2 one day and then drop a series right after that. So, but Evan, man, we appreciate your time as always, my friend. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the CWS, and we'll catch up with you real soon.
Appreciate it, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Evan. Evan Blam, the Omaha World Herald.
Can I ask this question? Have you guys picked your bandwagon team for Omaha?
I'm a Coastal guy. I'm from Carolina.
I know you are. I assume so.
Yeah, that's easy.
I've been with Coastal since the regionals.
Now Murray State gets it done. They'll be my new favorite.
I mean, yeah. If Murray State makes it through,
But
everyone loves the Cinderella underdog
Yeah,
type story.
I would say that's the bandwagon, but I would say this. My kid and I were talking about this yesterday. It is a pleasure, and it's always fun that LSU is there. Those fans are next to none.
This might not be popular because of the whole calling the Hogs thing. I'm rooting for Dave Van Horn to finally get one.
I have a guy I coach with would be against you right now.
I understand that. But
Not the biggest fan.
Hey, I appreciate what he did for Nebraska baseball back in the day. I think it'd be good to see him get one for Arkansas, but one's all they need.
Okay. All right. So that'll be.
I know that's not a popular thing.
No, but you can have it. So, all right, let's take a break. Come back. We'll do stories that we missed.
Woo pigs. Suey.
Boy, back in the day, it was fun to watch them play basketball, though.
Who?
Arkansas, back in the day. Nolan Ritson, 40 minutes of hell. Oh, my gosh. That was good stuff. That was good stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Done that. Let's see.
Yeah. Did either of you guys get the new Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap? Anyone?
No. Did you get some?
No.
Don't lie.
No, I did not. Sold
You're
that
a
way
soap
too
guy.
fast.
I'm missing a bunch of these comments up here. I have a buddy that's a teacher in Lincoln that only eats only hot dog. He only eats hot dog. Wow. Right before I did miss it, he said, if you saw, he said, gonna nacho cheese my dog today. We'll see for myself.
Let me know what you think.
Full report.
If you like nacho cheese and you like hot dogs, you're not going to
Full report.
I guarantee you that.
Oh, I skipped breakfast this morning and now I'm starving.
Well, we got a whole bunch of mini donuts.
Yeah, you want some donuts?
No, I'll be all right.
I also skipped breakfast.
I'm not a
big
guy.
breakfast guy
I'm not,
either.
I'm the worst. I'm a 2-cup coffee guy.
Yeah, I'm 2 cups of coffee, and if that's sitting not great, maybe like a granola bar or whatever I can find. Yeah, I don't eat a full breakfast ever.
Mine's just a creature of habit. The way I my other life business that I'm in, it's like I usually eat it like if I'm lucky enough to get about 1:30. You know, you're in that business as well.
Well, the thing is,
and it's usually cold.
If I eat
or something that's just sitting in the back.
If I eat breakfast, that means I'm going to skip lunch. If I skip breakfast, it means I'm going to eat lunch.
Yeah.
And I save breakfast for the special occasions.
Kobe says you must have tried it if you knew it was sold out fast, Elijah.
I just
You
saw it
would
on
bring
social-
up Sydney Sweeney soap, Elijah.
I just saw it on social media.
What's the catch with this soap?
It's made using water that she bathed in.
What?
It's made using water that she bathed in.
Are you kidding me?
It sold out within like 2 minutes or
How
something
do
like
we
that.
know this is true?
We don't.
Photos?
It comes with it.
I need proof.
I know it comes with a certificate of authenticity.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm just testing stuff.
Oh, you're good. I just want to know the average age of the male that bought this soap. Welcome back in the Morning Hookup. Special thanks to Evan Bland from Omaha World Herald, hanging out with us. Little Husker baseball updates, College World Series. If you haven't had a chance, not the greatest baseball sports movie, but do yourself a favor. Go watch Summer Catch. You ever seen Summer Catch? Jessica Biel, Freddie Prinze Jr. It's about the Cape Cod League. Yeah, it's solid. I mean, you brought up Sydney Sweeney after I brought up Jessica Biel.
I was during the break. I was going to bring that up on the air.
I know. Elijah just wanted to know if anybody was able to obtain the bathwater soap.
Yeah,
the next text I get is from my wife. Do you have cash?
Is she getting some Sydney Sweeney bathwater
I don't know what's
soap?
going on. But you would bring that up.
Just making waves online.
Should I grab your phone and check your search history, or like?
No. If I
you were at a bachelor party, this was probably a conversation.
It was a conversation, because if I did get it, I would have not used it. I would have saved it for resale purposes down the road somewhere. You know, stuff like that will appreciate in value.
Mm-hmm.
Honey, I swear it's a business investment.
Kids are like, "What's? Don't touch that soap! Put Sydney down.
It's Daddy's special soap.
Put it down." Question coming out: are you a bathwater aficionado?
No, I don't
By
like
the way,
baths.
taking baths are disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a bath.
Just throwing it out there. Just launching that out there, folks.
I am not a bath man.
When we had all of our kids, it was as quick as possible. If they could stand up, they could take a shower.
Yep.
Done. Baths are dumb. Disgusting. I know there's people that love them, but it's dumb. Unless you have Sydney Sweeney soap.
I just don't get baths because you don't get as clean as in a shower, and you're sitting around in the bathwater that you have now gotten dirty. Like how are you getting clean here?
We are diving off the deep end here, folks.
All day, coach.
I understand like the relaxation nature of a bath. I do not believe in the cleaning potential of a bath.
How about you wash your body and put your head back in it? With
Yeah,
the
exactly.
soap?
Gross.
Yuck.
You know what? I'm making an executive decision here.
The Morning Hookup.
Shane just said he saw a post saying those bars are sober selling for over $200 on eBay.
That's the first story that we've missed.
Wait, coming up tomorrow, well, Robin watched it, Brian Munson. I don't have any take on it yet, but do you guys have any take? I haven't read a lot about the 7-on-7 stuff this weekend.
7-on-7 is stupid, but that's okay.
Would it work out? Because I heard wasn't it like Cam Newton in town?
Yeah. Okay. I think generally speaking, 7-on-7 is a silly concept. There's pros to it, but like I feel like way too many people try to evaluate football players from 7-on-7. Don't do that. This shows, hey, if a guy's a good route runner, awesome. If he's got good hands, you can see it. If the ball comes off a quarterback's hand, nice, awesome. Being a 7-on-7 all-star means nothing when it comes to strapping it up and playing on Saturdays or on Sundays. Like, I am not going to make my quarterback evaluation off of 7-on-7. I'm not going to determine how good a guy is as a wide receiver. Like, cool, he's got good hands. Cool, the quarterback's got a cannon of an arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all you'll find out. But it's a great recruiting experience. And I think it helps with cover skills whenever there's no off or defensive line to help you out as a corner. Like, you got to really be sticky in coverage.
It had to be just getting a lot of dudes on campus, right? I do know this. I know.
And you get to see the athleticism of guys. I am not going to watch a 7-on-7 camp be like, that's a good football player. It's different.
I was somewhere, and I know that the red carpet was being rolled out for recruits to the tune of closing down the entire club.
Really?
I do know that the red carpet was rolled out.
And what was interesting about this, people were, it's not that unique. It was unique in that it was a brand affiliated event, which means Adidas foot the bill. You got to get kids into your campus. I mean, every single guy who was in town got an unofficial visit without actually taking an unofficial visit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's closer to an official visit because Adidas is footing the bill. So it's a really unique opportunity to essentially get guys on campus for free. They get to see all the facilities. They get to go tell all their friends in the 7-on-7 circuit, like, man, you guys got to go see that Nebraska
Go check
facility.
that place out.
That was the coolest place we played this summer. Like, there's benefits to it. I would say, with the exception of one guy, don't look into any performances this weekend. But Ahmad Hudson, that's the type of thing I'm talking about. You saw the worlds of athletic potential that guy has. I mean, I haven't seen a performance like that since Micah Parsons came to town.
Yep.
He was incredible. And he now has a Nebraska basketball offer in addition to a football offer.
Hello, two-way. out there, stories that we missed. Finally, in news that probably nobody cares about, but the drama is over. Pittsburgh Steelers have a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, 1-year deal. They'll get that signed and done. He'll be out there, and then promptly, week 1, he'll face off against the Jets.
I'm sure that will go well.
No bad blood.
I said this last Friday.
I don't think there. Don't you get to a certain point in the career, like there's probably, I don't think there's bad blood in the Jets. Do you think? That was a coach coming in saying, look, man, we're going a different direction. Now, there might be some feelings with Justin Fields on the flip side.
I'm more curious in how Mike Tomlin's going to handle all this.
Yep.
How is he? I mean, he's handled some big personalities for like 1 to 2 seasons, and he ships them off. You just got the big personality of all big personalities in Aaron Rodgers. How is he going to handle it whenever Aaron Rodgers inevitably hops on the Pat McAfee show midway through the year and says something disparaging towards a teammate or towards a coach? And now Mike Tomlin's got to handle that. How is that going to go down? We'll see. All I know, Steelers will go 9-8. They'll make the wild card and get blown out.
I love the fact that there's an article out there, CBS Sports. So this is the headline. Aaron Rodgers set to become the oldest player in Steelers' 92-year history. Makes my day. What else we got out there, guys? Boy, ex-Mavs coach. Boy, it still continues with this Luka Doncic trade. And their former coach is like, Don Nelson, thought it was a tremendous mistake. There was so much going on in that organization for that to get done, and so much disarray. Wow.
Yeah, not a controversial take by any means. Oh wow, trading away your top 5 player in the league, superstar player, for an aging Anthony Davis. Huh? I think that's a mistake. Yeah, of course it is. I don't know. The Mavs did turn around. They're going to get Cooper Flags. Maybe all's well that ends well. But yeah, silly.
Also out there in the NFL, 4-time Pro Bowl running back Nick Chubb seems to believe has a landing spot, a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans.
So he's going to back up Joe Mixon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Nick Chubb, the NFL stands for not for long with all the injuries.
Yeah, he's an unfortunate case because he was a stud.
He was a stud. But
some nasty injuries out there.
See how much football he's got left in him.
Go watch Summer Catch. I got a text from a buddy. Love it. You guys are awesome. They hanging out with us on a Monday. Tomorrow, Robin Washit, Brian Munson,
Justice
Rhodey back. That and a whole lot more. You guys have a great start to your week. Great Monday. We'll catch you on a Tuesday.